Welcome to Dark Magic Stories. Tonight's tale, A Brother's Squabble, Episode 7 of Pruett's Sinister Escapades. While the Dorvo prepare for war, Pruett dreams of bone fragments and destiny. Julian brings a warning, but it may already be too late. What happens when a brother's love becomes a burden? Let the squabble begin. Episode 7, A Brother's Squabble. Unaware, or perhaps unconcerned, about the storm brewing against him, Pruett continued his experiments with Monsieur. The preserved head of Beauregard, resting in its glass jar, had become more than a trophy. It was a companion, an artifact that seemed to grow more animated with each passing day. While he slept earlier that day, Pruett began to experience what he called visions. Whether they were remnants of Beauregard's consciousness or the product of his fractured mind was unclear. The head's whispers, faint at first, grew louder, weaving through his thoughts with the persistence of a melody that couldn't be silenced. "You see, monsieur," Pruett said as he awoke that night, "your people think they can contain me. But chaos isn't something you contain. It's something you harness." Beauregard's voice, if it was indeed his voice, responded, the words twisting through Pruett's mind like smoke. The whispers spoke of power, of destiny, of a world remade in chaos. Pruett's obsession deepened, his focus narrowing to a single, maddening goal: finding the remaining bone fragments of Dorvo. He had become convinced that the fragments, scattered across the globe, held the key to ultimate power. To control Dorvo, the progenitor of the vampire race, was to command all his descendants. The thought consumed him. Still, he went about his night. He left briefly and fed indiscriminately, only to return half an hour later. He then proceeded to adjust the bindings on a human's eye, floating in preservation fluid. Monsieur's whisper surged, louder and clearer than ever. "Enough of this. The fragments await. Claim them." Pruett froze, his fingers twitching. A slow, crooked smile spread across his face. "You're right, monsieur. That is now my duty, after all." He chuckled, tapping the glass gently with the edge of his fingernail before his hazel eyes gleamed with manic glee. Just then he picked up on Julian's scent, which made him look over his shoulder. The door to the ruined monastery creaked open. Julian stepped inside alone, shoulders soaked in fatigue. Pruett spread his arms wide in mock welcome. "Ah, my dear brother, how lovely of you to grace me with your presence again, just as I have some exciting news to share with you." Julian crossed the threshold and cast a glance at the collection along the shelves: preserved demon remains, cursed objects, pieces of forgotten lore. He said nothing. Pruett could feel his disgust radiating like heat. "I have decided to leave Paris in search of the remaining bones," he revealed. "Remaining bones?" Julian questioned. "Why, yes. You know, before I decapitated Monsieur, he told me there were a total of 6 bone fragments of Dorvo. He had one, which is now mine. I aim to find the remaining 5. There, I said it. I said it, and you heard it." "And what is our business with that?" Pruett gestured to Beauregard's head with a dramatic flourish. "It is merely one piece of the puzzle, a single step in a much grander plan." "And that is?" "Shh," Pruett quieted him. "Let Monsieur tell you." Instead, Julian only heard silence, but in Pruett's mind, he heard laughter. Warm, mocking. Beauregard's voice again, encouraging and accusatory all at once. He tilted his head as if listening. "Mm-hmm. Yes, especially her. Marcella always was a dramatic one." A low chuckle escaped him. "Brother, you are truly mad." I heard that, Pruett said brightly. But don't worry. The madness is a feature, not a flaw. Keeps me interesting. I do not care for your antics. I've come to only give you a warning. Warning? Marcella will come tomorrow, with Leonis and Luke. They're not coming to talk. This ends tomorrow, one way or another. Pruett didn't flinch. Then let them come. Julian's voice cracked. You need to stop all of this. The collection, the murders, the death. How long have you been at it? Centuries. Centuries. I've seen what this is doing to you. Doing to me, Pruett echoed. Brother, it's completing me. Julian stepped forward. You killed a king. I've killed dozens, Pruett said flatly. Kings, queens, matriarchs. Remember Endor? Remember the Vault of Skulls? This isn't new for me. This is different, Julian said. We aren't living in those times anymore. Pruett tilted his head. You say that like it's a weakness. Because it is, Julian snapped. You think you're preserving legacy, but you're just hoarding death. Pruett smiled faintly. Legacy is made of death. Julian's voice dropped. I gave them your location. I told them where to find you. Pruett blinked, then nodded slowly. I know. How else would they have found me? You're not angry. Why would I be? Pruett said. Of all the things you could have done, this one makes sense. Besides, he gestured casually, who else has the stomach to face a Dorvo queen head-on? Julian didn't respond. You've seen it, haven't you? Pruett continued. Marcella is the new queen with no experience. Leonis hides behind codes. Luke swings his sword like a blunt hammer. But me? He leaned closer. I've never needed an army. I just need a sharp edge and the will to use it. And if they kill you? Julian asked quietly. Then remember me like I remember Monsieur. He pointed at the glass jar. And keep me close to him. We still have many stories to share. Brother, Julian whispered, shaking his head. You are truly a psychopath. Pruett's grin widened. I preserved him. Look at him, immortalized forever. Isn't that what we all crave? When they come, you must hand over his head. Pruett's brow arched. Such a dull word. Hand over. Sounds like surrender. Let's call it a donation. You mustn't continue this. Abandon your macabre tendencies and come with me, he pleaded. You do not have to leave Paris. Stay with me at Maison de Benediction. This is my home, Pruett replied. If I remain in Paris, I remain here. Everything I want is here. Why hold on to something so grotesque? Julian asked. Pruett's grin wavered. For a moment, something close to sincerity passed through his expression. Because parting with genius is never easy. But fine, I will hand over what's left of him, if that will make you content. Perhaps they will find his conversations comforting. But I will keep the bone of their beloved savior. Julian turned away, the weight of his brother's madness too much to bear. But before he could leave, Pruett added softly, Thank you for telling them. Julian looked back, confused. You mean that? Pruett smiled, tired, wicked, maybe even sincere. It's no fun if they don't come. Julian stared for a long moment, then walked away without another word. The door closed behind him with a hollow thud. Pruett returned to his desk, hands steady. Tomorrow, he whispered. Let's see who survives the story. You've been listening to A Brother's Squabble, Episode 7 of Pruett's Sinister Escapades. Julian has made his choice. The Dorvo are on their way. And Pruett, he's waiting, smiling, eager to see how the story ends. The final confrontation draws near. Some truths can't be buried. Some monsters don't run.